You have been called
to do good,
to feed the hungry,
to love with action,
to be a light in the darkness,
to love your neighbor,
to teach wisdom,
to walk humbly,
to love mercy,
to care for the least of these.
Will you accept the call?
This is our city.
Our mission. Visit eriecitymission.org/volunteer to accept the call today.
Get paid to drive. Start a new career behind the wheel at the EMTA. If you are looking for a high-paying and rewarding career with full benefits and paid training, stop by or apply online today with the EMTA. Plus, EMTA riders can now enjoy free Wi-Fi on new, clean, and environmentally friendly buses to travel all over Erie County. Visit ridethee.com for more information.
Get on board EMTA. Get on board EMTA. Get
Welcome to TalkErie.com's Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast. Every day, we tackle the biggest issues that the Erie PA region faces. Stay informed and involved as we advance the narrative of Erie. Now, here's Joel Natale.
Very glad to be with a very fine group of young students here as we are getting ready to chat about the Future Business Leaders of America and this National Leadership Conference that has happened here, recently in Anaheim, California. And let me get started by introducing the advisor here. We've got Janis Filbeck, and she's with us here from the Erie Day School. Janis, thank you so much. Let me get your mic turned on here, and appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
All righty. We're going to get an origin story here. Tell us from the very beginning here what this organization and your chapter at Erie Day is all about.
So Future Business Leaders of America came to us this year. We launched our first program, and it is the largest group of it's the largest group. I'm losing my train of thought already. So sorry.
You're fine.
So it's the largest business career student organization in the world. It has 5,200 chapters, 200,000 members across the United States, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Canada, and China. And an alumna came to us last year and suggested that we launch a program at Erie Day School, so we did. And we had 24 students sign up, and they all placed very well in the PA States competition, which happens online. They made videos and submitted video presentations on different topics. Some of the students only took tests. They finished very well, and most of them were invited to the National Leadership Conference in Anaheim, California. So I have several of the students here today that traveled to California, and we competed there and did very well there. We had two groups of students that placed in the top 10 at the National Leadership Conference.
That's amazing. And it's basically your first year, right?
Our first year, totally stunning.
That's remarkable. So you got the impetus to kind of do this. Why did you feel like this was a good investment for Erie Day School to kind of start this group, you think?
I thought that it was a great program to start with the students. I was familiar with it through my husband, who was involved as a high school and college student. So I've been familiar with the organization for over 30 years. And when the student came and said, hey, why don't you consider doing this? I thought, this is great. We have a group of students that are very dynamic. They love to learn. They love to compete. And they're very individually driven. And that really proved to be true as we launched into our program. They superseded any expectation I think that any of us had. And yet, after they achieved and did so well, we're not all too surprised because of their drive. So it's a program that encourages them to research, collaborate, and just show what they know. And these students are just amazing. They're a group of dynamos.
All right, let's get started talking to some of the students here. And again, just for my radio listeners, I'm literally surrounded by middle schoolers here. So you guys having fun yet? I mean, it sounds like it. All right. So why don't you choose somebody to chat?
So let's start with Jared and Vihan, who competed and did very well at the National Leadership Conference.
So Vihan, you've got that mic over there. Jared, this is your mic. So let's talk about. What was the focus of your efforts as part of the state competition? Like you have to get through states, right? So did you start with a project or just kind of, doing well on some of the tests or the evaluations to begin with, or what?
So we actually had to do a presentation, and we had to take a test in order to qualify for nationals. So we performed our presentation on a video, and we sent it to the judges. And then we had to take a 50-question test.
It was a 50-question test in 30 minutes we had. And so we also had to film a 7-minute presentation. In order to get to nationals, you had to place top 4.
Okay, so what was the subject matter? What were some of the things that you guys... What was part of that video?
We had to make a presentation on a scenario given to us by FBLA.
Okay.
The scenario was about a girl named Valerie who had a project given to her by her boss, which was to improve the company's testimonials. Yeah.
So as our project was on exploring business ethics, we had a project on Valerie, who worked at Longcloth Avenue. She was given the job to work on their customer testimonials. But she procrastinated, and a few days before the time for their report, her boss checked in with her. And her boss was like, hey, can you show me what you've done? And Valerie could either lie to her boss and say that she had almost finished it and turn in a bad report, or she could tell her boss the truth. In the end, our presentation decided that she should tell the boss the truth, because that will build eventually, after the breaking of trust, she can rebuild the trust.
There's no doubt about it. What do you guys think that you learned about ethics and proper business from your presentation?
We learned why it is important to be honest and have integrity in business, and how it can affect your career in so many different ways just by telling one single lie.
Wow. What do you think, Vihan?
Yeah, so I think throughout our whole presentation, so this was since November this started, so throughout our whole experience, we have learned that to always choose the right way, even if it's not the easy way.
Nice.
Janis, I mean, really, when you think about this here, those are some pretty significant life lessons that these young folks are learning, right?
They sure are. They sure are, and and that's what I liked about it. Is the title of their competition was Exploring Business Ethics. They had to go through so many different scenarios and look at the different stakeholders that were affected by choosing not to tell the truth, and each of them had a different category of competition. And I think that's part of the beauty of it, is just that exploration and conversation and discussion, and then landing on a decision and supporting that with the evidence that they found through their research.
And so what this led to is being able to advance to the nationals?
Yes.
Okay, for the business ethics part of it.
So all of their original presentations were due at the end of February, and then they took some tests. I think the testing day ended in March, and then we then learned the results from that. If they took a place at the national competition, they had a chance to revise what they worked on,
okay,
and then they presented that in real life. So many of them will tell you stories about walking into a room facing judges and how that's different than making that video, which had its own challenges.
Awesome. All right, I've got a couple minutes left before the break. Who else should we go to next?
Let's talk to Ethan. And is Alex on Zoom?
Yeah, Alex is on Zoom, yes.
Alex and Ethan.
Alex, say hello, would you?
Hello.
There you go.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
All right. Actually, you can grab your headset if you want to listen to Alex, okay? And there you go. All right. So Ethan and Alex here, and talk about your project. Go ahead.
We chose critical thinking.
Okay. What does that mean to you? What do you know about that?
To me, it means to be able to utilize the full potential of your mind.
I think that's a pretty good.
That's
a pretty good
great explanation.
Definition. Okay, so go ahead, talk about that project.
So we had to figure out ways to raise money for the Red Cross, and we decided to use events like auctions and blood donating and
fundraising.
Alex, weigh in there, buddy. You know, so what did you? What was this? You know, tell us about the scenario and all that.
So the scenario FBLA gave us was that the American Red Cross is a nonprofit organization, and we were supposed to fundraise money for it, and we had to discuss all the possibilities and each of the possibilities, pros and cons, and then we had to weigh if the pros were greater than the cons or if the cons overweight the pros. And then in the end, we had to choose one final decision.
And this whole thing led to a 4th place placement in the Nationals, right?
No, the Nationals and state thing, the state was 2 different projects.
Oh, okay.
Their project was different than any other project because, like at the state competition, they had to turn in a video, but when they got to nationals, they had to think on the fly. So the others used technology. They walked into a room, they were given a scenario, they had X number of minutes to plan, and then they had to present to a group of judges. Then they made it to, they were considered finalists, just like Jared and Vihan. And so at their second go around, they were given a different scenario. And so they had to think on the fly and role play in both of those scenarios at the National Leadership Conference.
They just had to come up with it there.
Yes, after they were given a scenario.
Gentlemen, tell me, how is it that you could develop? I mean, if you're talking to your fellow 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, how do you develop critical thinking? What's a good exercise? Is there something that comes to mind? Go ahead, Alex.
Always thinking about the pros and cons of each choice you make, and if the cons do overweigh the pros, then don't make that choice. And just to play it smart, I mean, just thinking about the pros and cons.
Yeah. What do you think, Ethan?
I think practice is also important. And we went through many scenarios and thought about ways to improve.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, isn't that a real life scenario too? Insofar as that, people should be self-reflective of saying, okay, if I encounter this or this is something that you might not deal. Well, you probably deal with it in middle school. The idea that you're encountering maybe a moment of conflict and you go through the pros and cons, you go through the outcomes that could happen, and you try to maybe not role play or, figure it out in your head, but you try to figure out a way that you could be a better communicator to get your point across. Did you find that communication is hugely important with critical thinking?
Yeah, I feel like communication's important because you have to know who's doing what and the amount of work everyone's putting in.
There's a connection here to really what Erie Day School is all about, right? I mean,
there absolutely is. The values of FBLA certainly align with our Erie Day School, and just valuing honesty, integrity, and valuing the whole person. And it shows in the classroom, and it aligns in the values of these projects that the students are working with.
Fantastic. All right, let's go to hearing from a couple other students here.
All right, let's hear from Jake and Ahmed and Leo.
All right, gentlemen. Tell me about the category that you guys were involved in.
So
bring that mic right up to your mouth. There you go.
We were involved in exploring business issues.
Okay.
At first, we actually didn't know, which we were thinking of maybe going business ethics at first, or critical thinking, but we wanted to choose something different that everybody else wasn't doing. Sure. So we chose business issues.
So what does that mean to you? What's business issues? Let me understand that.
In my own words, business issues are like issues that need to be solved in the business world.
So yeah, hiring or what have you, because a number of things, right? So what was your project about at First States? Did you have to make a video? The same thing?
Yeah, we had to make a video.
Ahmed, why don't you talk about that?
Sure. So same thing with Jared and Vihan for their businesses in ethics.
Yeah.
For us to qualify for our national for FBLA, we had to do the same thing. We had to make a presentation, make it as a video, then send it to the judges. But we didn't actually have to take a test, so we just had to make it. Yeah. We really didn't like it. But that was really nice. We didn't really have to take a test. We just had to do a presentation.
So what was it? What did you guys do?
In nationals or
for states? Yeah. What was it? The nature of the video?
The nature of the video is when we were given business ethics as our topic, we each had to solve one question each.
Okay.
And it was really nice because there were 3 questions for each of us. Mine was which industries would likely to see the biggest changes due to AI, and then I would solve that question in our presentation.
And what did you come up with?
And I came up with many industries that are constantly using AI in their industry, such as healthcare, cybersecurity, manufacturing, and how they're each using it in a specific way to make their industry really flourish.
Give the mic back to Jake. Jake, what was your question that you worked on?
My question that I worked on is, how should business leaders be responding to the actions taken by AI?
Oh, okay. So you both had an AI question, huh? Yes. Pretty much. Does that seem to be what's happening, Janis? Is that did the conference seem like it was dominated by AI chats?
I think just in the business issues topic, I think that was just a very popular, thing. I do have to say that Leo, Ahmed, and Jake completed this project as 5th graders.
Oh my!
And they finished very well at the state level, and then went to nationals, and they were some of the youngest people in the room.
Leo, let's get you on the mic here, buddy. And what do you think you've learned? I mean, is all of this leading you guys to wanting to be in business, or is there an element where it's like, man, I'm not sure I like business?
Well, I feel like it could go either way.
Right.
Since you learned so much about it, there's some stuff that you might like and some that you might not. But my question was, how should business leaders be welcoming the benefits of AI in the workplace?
So how should business leaders be welcoming the benefits of AI? And did you come up with any conclusions? Because I want to hear that.
Well, one of the biggest answers I used was how they should be limiting the use of AI. They shouldn't be using it as the only thing that they're using for it. More to help them.
Keep the humans in charge?
Yeah.
I'm down with that. The humans,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, this is impressive. I mean, I didn't realize, we were going, even, kind of the younger side of middle school or the high side of primary school, right?
Yeah, we've got 5th graders here with this team. Jared and Vihan and Fiona here were 6th graders, and Ethan and Alex were 8th graders as competitors.
Wow. It'd be interesting to know, what do you do with this? As far as, you mentioned that there's some high schools that are involved with this. Certainly, taking an economics class or I don't even know. Is there an AP Econ? I have no idea. Right?
There is at the high school level.
At the high school level.
Sure.
So these guys are kind of gearing up for that, right?
They are. And I think one thing that they've all learned is that no matter what field you study or what field you choose to, spend your time in as an adult, we're all affected by business. The whole world is surrounded by marketing and driven by marketing, and AI is going to, it's here and it's going to affect everything. I think these kids, when I worked with them on their research, they learned about proper boundaries, and they talked about the ethics of using AI to help, but not to do. So it was very interesting conversations, and the research was, they learned, I think that all the groups, even Jared and Vihan and Fiona and all of the groups learned that the more research they did, the more questions they had. And so then the deeper the research went. And so they learned to really delve into a question, pretty deeply.
Quickfill gasoline is made right here in America. United Refining Company, who operates Quickfill, refines its gasoline from North American crude oil in Warren, Pennsylvania. When you buy United Refining Company gasoline at Quickfill, you keep jobs and businesses in America, and you keep American families strong. You don't need to send your money overseas when you buy gasoline. Buy American-made gasoline at Quickfill. Quickfill, driving America.
All year round, Frontier Home Products and Design has what you need to make your home comfortable and beautiful. Relax on a new timber tech deck designed by Frontier's experts. A new fireplace from Frontier Home Products Fireplace Gallery adds warmth and serenity to any home. Beauty and versatility at Frontier Home Products and Design Center, 4213 Peachtree, East 5th, next to the Bayfront Highway.
Frontier Home Products and Design Center. Discover a new frontier.
PA contractor number PA039007.
How many of the kids went to California?
We had 11 kids travel to California with their parents as chaperones.
Nice. Now, okay, so you fly, you got to do the whole shooting match, right? How does that work? Was there fundraising or?
No, not at this juncture.
Yeah.
We again, it was our first year, so we're living and learning. And so the parents took their kids out. They flew. Pennsylvania has a designated hotel. So everyone from Pennsylvania stayed in the same hotel, and they flew out together. And then, our little group, and maybe Jasmine can tell you a little bit more about that, met up and supported the kids in different ways. And they went out and did fun excursions, and then there was an awards ceremony the last night, and then they flew back home.
Jasmine, grab that mic there from Leo, and again, tell us how this was as a family.
Yeah, it was is it on here?
Yeah,
it was a wonderful experience. I traveled with my son Leo and my daughter Paloma as well, and Jake here and his mom. So everybody kind of got there, and we set up at the hotel. We were able to meet for lots of different dinners and breakfasts, and the kids loved swimming in the pool all together and meeting other kids from Pennsylvania too. I think the hotel was pretty much all filled with people from Pennsylvania.
That's cool.
So they had a great time. It was a great learning experience.
Did we get to go to Disneyland?
We did.
Okay,
yes,
good.
we had never been before, so we got to go ride some rides.
That's the OG. You
Yes.
realize that, right?
Yeah, lots of fun.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let's get Fiona on here. Fiona, tell us what part of the competition that you participated in.
So I did video game challenge, and I had to make an educational video game. At first, this was a challenge because we didn't realize it was supposed to be educational. And after we realized, I thought about my cousin Sean and my teammate. We were like, what about we do an interview game because he has a job, and wouldn't it be nice for teenagers who are gonna go for a job who need to prepare, and also have a fun way to prepare and not just sit down with a bunch of books and read for a while. And that way they can also relax and enjoy the game. And that's what our video game was.
That is, they literally talk about the concept of gaming out business strategies, right? So you were basically gaming out, getting prepared for a job interview. I love that idea. That's fantastic. What did the judges say about that? What were some of the responses?
So the judges had some questions. One of the judges' question was the biggest challenge I have for the video game. And since there's score involved, I had to make sure the score didn't keep switching places in the video game. That was one challenge. And another challenge was I wanted to make sure there were more than one option to the questions and to make it more diverse. So one of the biggest challenges was to make sure that there are 3 options to pick from to make it more diverse and unique. And that was one of the questions. Another question was if anyone of my friends had used it. My cousin Sean has actually used it, and he is doing computer science in college, so he did actually really like it, and that was the questions.
I'm just overwhelmed. This is really, really, really cool. So let's go around the room, and I'll give you this, Jake, and we'll talk to some of the older kids here first, though. But let's talk about, do you feel like it is getting to be a situation where you're going to want to be in business? Ethan, why don't you jump in? And again, you were talking about critical thinking. Does the whole concept feel like something that you want to do? Like that you have a trajectory to be in the business world or in tech or something like that?
Yeah, totally. I feel like the ability to think quickly on the spot can really be useful in many situations.
Yeah. Alex, let's get you in on this conversation. How about you? Do you feel like that that's going to be part of your trajectory? Again, hard to know when you're in 8th grade, but what do you think?
I think whatever job I may get, critical thinking will play a big part in my job, because whenever each job requires critical thinking, because you have to make important choice decisions, and each decision comes with its own pros and cons. And this is where you have to use critical thinking to weed out the bad decisions and make the good ones.
Jared, weigh in on when you think about your project. Does it lead you to maybe wanting to do this for a living? Are you starting to think about college or whatever? I mean, a lot of kids your age are thinking that way, huh?
Yeah, definitely, because knowing how to differentiate the right and wrong ways of a problem is important and can lead to many successful careers.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely thinking about it.
Weigh in on that too. Go ahead.
So I think it's an important thing. So I myself want to be a heart doctor, but I think that quick thinking, business skills, and ethicality is very important wherever life takes you.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. How about you guys? You guys might be a little young to be thinking about, what's next, but Jake, what do you think? I mean, are you starting to think about what you might want to do when you grow up?
I actually, before at BLA, I wanted to do something in business.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking maybe when I'm in college, maybe taking classes for like business and finance.
Sure.
And being something in that.
It's cool. How about Ahmad? What is this? Is this experience kind of helping you with your trajectory?
Well, as much as I think business in this world is very important, especially for somebody who wants to get a good education and wants to have a really sustainable life, as much as I know and kind of like business, I just want to put myself into the place where I can really become a good doctor, actually.
Sure.
So not as much business, but I'll still keep it in my mind.
Well, and doctors have to be business owners a lot of times, don't they? Huh? Leo, what do you is this starting to form what you want to do when you grow up?
Well, it definitely brought in the idea of business, but I wouldn't say I would 100% do it. I'll probably keep it as an option, but definitely not guaranteed.
Gotcha. And Fiona, how about you? What do you with this experience? Do you think coding or web development or game development might be part of your future?
Well, game development is fun, but I really want to help people in a different way. I always like to talk to the elderly, so I'm thinking more of a doctor for the elderly. And I'm also into fashion, so I'm looking into one of those jobs.
I like that. Let's see if we can get this mic over to Lindsay, because I want to get a. I don't know how far it'll go. It goes fine. Lindsay, you've got to be overwhelmed when you hear these kids talk. I mean, and
absolutely.
Share, yeah.
So this is my first year here at Erie Day School this past school year. Janis had originally asked me to help her with the program because I did work in the corporate world for a while, so I have some experience in business type presentations and things like that. But at Erie Day School, I'm the STEAM and technology teacher. So the biggest thing, the most exciting thing from my lens seeing these kids is their growth in technology skills, their growth in presentation skills, their ability to make PowerPoints that are straightforward and easy to read and very informative. Even Fiona with her coding, just seeing how incredibly driven they all are. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, the doors that are opening for these kids just by the hard work they're putting in now is incredible to see and witness and see them grow throughout the year. And I know from experience, just from my journey, that it doesn't matter if they go into business or not. These skills are used in every industry. So it's incredible to witness for sure.
Janis, grab that mic again. Pretty remarkable what these young people have been. It's going to be hard to even beat this next year, don't you think? I mean,
it is. It is. It is for sure. But I'm excited to get started, and we'll expand some of our activities and make it a very, as it grows, it will grow in its robust nature as well. Sure. So we adopt some service projects, and that's part of the FBLA spirit. That's part of the Erie Day School spirit. And then we're going to incorporate some fun social activities too.
Cool. I want to ask one more question because I'm really interested. Let me grab that mic here for the fifth graders, and because you guys are all talking about AI, are you scared of AI? Because there's a lot of adults that are. What's your thought, Jake? Just yes or no?
It's not really, I have to say, because I know in that the end of the day that a human, maybe AI might be faster, that stuff, but AI can make a lot of errors. For example, ChatGPT, they just get, or like AI overview, they get the most looked website,
right?
And then they just use that, which would be false information. But AI can't go out into nature and actually can see it and do their own research.
Right. Ahmad, should we be worried about AI?
For me personally, I don't really know what to be afraid of AI. I mean, I don't know how somebody could be so scared of something that humans created. I mean, I don't really, personally, I don't know what to be afraid of AI. Yeah. But I think if something does mess up, or some software, I don't know that much about coding, but if something messes up in a commonly used AI app, that could really cause a lot of damage. But I'm not really scared of that.
Leo, you got an idea about this?
I'm not scared of AI. I think, though, people need to learn how to use it. And again, as I said, they need to be limiting the use of it.
I agree with that totally here. How about you guys, you ethicists? What do you think? Are you worried about AI? You want to be a heart doctor, right? So the idea of doing diagnoses using AI to weed out what could be a false diagnosis, that has a lot of hopeful possibilities, right?
Yeah, so my dad, he's also a cardiologist.
Yeah.
So when he talks to patients, he can actually keep his phone on the table. And then when he keeps it on the table, he asks them, so, do you want to use AI? Are you okay with me using AI to record the conversation? And then they're usually like, yeah. So before, my dad would have to write up a whole account of the patient's like arrival and everything.
Right, yeah.
And then now the AI writes it for him. He just has to go check it out. I think the AI, so there could be a false diagnosis, but it pulls up information and stuff much faster than he could have. So in the end, I think it's a nice thing, and it's also nice because he also approves it and looks over it. So I think it's a nice balance. Like even before, they've been using robots to do procedures. So
Sure.
there's like a 3D kind of thing, so they move their hands on the screen and
The Da
then
Vinci.
it does it. Yeah.
The Da Vinci, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the name.
You guys want to weigh in on whether you're worried about it or that it could be a good tool and the ethics of it all?
I'm not really that worried about AI because even though it makes some errors today, it's going to advance over time.
Yeah.
So I don't really see why people are that worried over it. It can be useful in many different ways too.
Jump in on this. Grab that mic, Ethan. Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of worried about AI and how it could affect the future because I feel like with how fast it's advancing, I feel like it could take over so much of what humans are doing. Like,
yeah.
I feel like in the future you could use AI to just do any task for you.
Yeah. You think about, men and women used to ride horses. And a horse is very, very strong animal, right?
Yeah.
Much stronger than a human. But we can control the horse through training and using the reins. Isn't that what we need to do with AI? Weigh in on this, Fiona. What do you think? Are you concerned about AI?
Yeah, I don't think AI should be something we're scared of, but I think that we should make sure that AI doesn't get too out of control because we made it and it's our creation, so we should keep it into our hands and not let it get out of control.
I appreciate it. Janis, final thoughts?
I'm just really proud of these kids
Yeah.
and just the drive and the motivation and the critical thinking that they employ each day.
Yeah, I mean, you need the critical thinking not only to, figure out your English or math homework, but you also need the critical thinking on how to deal with that encounter that didn't go very well with you in the lunchroom or what have you, right?
That's right.
And so many folks, unfortunately, grow up without strengthening those critical thinking muscles.
That's right.
Of themselves. So you guys knocked my socks off. I'm still wearing socks, but they're figuratively knocked off. Did you have a good time here?
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
You got it here. Again, our friends from the Future Business Leaders of America, and that is from Erie Day School. I mean, 8th graders down to 5th graders. Super cool. I appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You've been listening to The Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast from TalkErie.com. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher and get involved by emailing joel@TalkErie.com.